The maritime industry is a key sector of the Nigerian economy, owing to the fact that as an oil-producing and exporting country as well as a consumer nation. With its large population, the market for foreign goods is huge. To this end, the maritime sector holds the key to the nation's growth and development. Nigeria's strategic location in Africa also puts her at advantage in becoming the hub of shipping activities. Welcome. It's great to have you join us on today's edition of Maritime Update, where we bring to you every week issues and developments in the maritime industry. I am Norma Obiaswalo. The Nigerian Chamber of Shipping was formed in 2002 as a stakeholders body to ensure that domestic shipping industry participate fully in the Nigerian coastal waters and beyond. The body, which belongs and represents Nigeria in the International Chamber of Shipping, has grown to become an umbrella body for all stakeholders in the maritime and shipping industry in Nigeria, and secures for its members maximum participation in Nigeria domestic and international trade. The chamber engages itself in advocacy, training, consultancy, arbitration, ship financing training, and workshops effectively serve its role. The chamber is also working with Ghana on West African Chamber of Shipping, which will be a solid platform to help address problems facing shipping in the West African region. The Nigerian Chamber of Shipping will be our focus this week. First, let's look at the issues and developments that made news this week. Stay with us. Nigerian Shippers Council calls for benchmarks for services in port to ensure efficiency, appropriate pricing. Minister of Transportation says the absence of single window at seaports may deny Nigeria $1 trillion trade facilitation benefit. And now to the main stories. The Executive Secretary and CEO of the Nigerian Shippers Council, Hassan Bello, at the Abuja Transport and Aviation Correspondents Seminar, stressed the need to set benchmarks for efficiency, appropriate pricing, and enforcement to avoid discriminating tariff for services in the port. He noted that lack of regulation gives room for wholesome self-assertion, cartelization, arbitrariness, profiteering, and exploitation. According to him, economic regulation is an intervention by government to influence market behavior of individuals and organizations in the private and public sector. Regulation also focuses on the key issues of pricing, quality service, and competition in the marine transport subsector. Bello, however, said that the mandate of Shippers Council as port regulator is to provide guidelines on tariffs in order to guard against arbitrariness, reduce high cost of doing business, and prevent inflationary effect on the economy, noting that negative effects such as predatory pricing and price discrimination will be put under check through proper regulation. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Senator Olorunimbe Mamora as the Managing Director and CEO of the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA. The appointment, which takes immediate effect, is strategic to stem the running battle over control of Lagos waterways and coastlines between NIWA and the Lagos State Waterways Authority, LASWA. Mamora is also expected to drive the ongoing inland waterways reforms aimed at attracting private sector investors and deepening water transportation patronage as a critical mode of transportation in the multimodal transport system. The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, at the Sub-Regional Workshop and Joint Standing Committee meeting of the Union of African Shippers Council, UASC, hosted by Nigerian Shippers Council, said Nigeria may lose out from benefiting from the $1 trillion annual gain on implementation of the Trade Facilitation Agreement, TFA, due to a non-functional national trade platform at the nation's seaports. According to him, Nigeria is the only country in West Africa without a national platform which allows the clearing of cargo in 24 hours. Amechi said that the federal government has made remarkable progress in the development of trade-supporting infrastructure such as railways, roads, inland dry ports, and truck transit parks in several locations across the country to bring shipping closer to service users in the hinterland. And that's Maritime News. Maritime updates continue shortly. Stay with us. If you have just joined us, this is Maritime Update reaching you courtesy of the Nigerian Shippers Council. For more details, please reach the Nigerian Shippers Council on our email, website, or better still, text the number showing on your screen. Now to the guest of the week. He is Andy Isiche. He is the president, Nigerian Chamber of Shipping. In this chat, he talked about the activities of the chamber and how it has helped to reposition the sector for greater efficiency. He also talked about piracy, which is a great challenge to trade facilitation, and many more. Stay with us. Tell us about the activities of the Nigerian Chamber of Shipping, which you have spearheaded as the president, that is geared towards maritime development.
Okay, first of all, the Nigerian Chamber of Shipping is the umbrella body for stakeholders in the Nigerian shipping industry. It's made up of ship owners, it's made up of terminal operators, it's made up of bankers that provide loans to the maritime industry, it's made up of clearing agents, and so on and so forth, within, and insurance companies within that industry. The apex making body within that institution is the governing council, and we have these key stakeholders well represented, in addition to government regulatory agencies like NIMASA, NPA, Nigerian Shippers Council, coming together to push for shipping development, protection of stakeholders' interests, and advocacy in all ramifications. Now, in terms of the activities, we're into advocacy. You know, we appear at the parliament whenever any amendments are to be made to laws.
You spearheaded this?
We didn't spearhead, but members of our chamber spearheaded the cabotage industry. You know, and key members of the chamber, you know, play advisory role to the maritime committees in the National Assembly. Okay, and of course, the others play active roles in other sectors of the economy. So the chamber, as a body, beyond the advocacy, making contributions to these laws at the parliament, we also take specific issues affecting the industry and, you know, liaise with government to see, you know, that positive actions are taken in terms of policy initiatives, policy implementation, amendments, adjustments, and so on and so forth. Now, specifically, you know, when the Ports and Harbour Bill was to be amended in 2017, ditto the Cabotage Act, we played leading roles amongst other institutions in making our input, you know, to ensure effective law. Now, for cabotage, there is this provision for waiver to be given to foreign vessels that want to do business in Nigeria. The law provides that the beneficiary must write to NIMASA to seek for waiver. The law also said that after 45 days, okay, of course, NIMASA will forward it to the Minister of Transport to approve. And the then law said that if after 45 days the minister does not append his signature, does not approve, that the waiver becomes effective. We, the Chamber of Shipping, insisted that the waiver approval should not be automatic at the expiration of the 45 days. That the minister, the law should be amended to state that the minister must approve. So even after 45 days, the minister has not approved, the waiver remains unapproved. That is a fundamental input.
Okay, having mentioned the Cabotage Act, how far do you think it has fared?
Well, I would say we have done well.
With the Cabotage Act?
Yes, but we still have a lot of room for improvement. We have done well in the sense that we would have been worse off if we didn't have any act. So we have the act, the implementing agency, which is NIMASA, is doing everything within its authority to ensure compliance.
Then if you said the Cabotage Act has fared well, and we are not still having flying in our Nigerian flag, so how will you say this is?
A law that is that deep.
But that's primarily the Cabotage Act.
It is not the only aspect of Cabotage Act. It is not. For example,
but it's key.
Let me give you an example. Now, crewing, largely vessels that ply within our coastal waters are largely Nigerian crude. So I haven't said Cabotage has been implemented, has been excellently implemented. I said we've fared well, but that we still have a lot of room for improvement.
Okay, moving away from that and looking at the challenges in the industry, what particular ones have you identified and what solutions will you prefer to them?
Well, we have several challenges within the industry. One, let's take security, for example. Where vessels cannot ply our coastal waters or inland waters, coastal waters, safely, that does not speak well. And that can do what? Increase cost of freight for inbound cargo to Nigeria. In addition to the risk exposure to the investments, in the cargo being ferried, be it liquid cargo, be it bulk cargo, be it containerized cargo. So it is a major challenge. In fact, a few days ago, there was a vessel, there was an armed robbery at sea within our coastal water, and 12 out of 19 crew members were kidnapped. That is not a good one for our image at all. So there is need for our security agencies or the federal government working through the security agencies to effectively man our territorial waters, because the consequence of that is that vessels coming to Nigeria will charge higher sea freight. You pay more insurance. They call it war risk insurance. The totality of this is that it impacts on your landed cost of goods that has landed. And the essence of being in business is to make profit. So it has implications, for inflation and overall standard of living of Nigerians.
Getting specifics now, you mentioned armed robbery, that is piracy, which is a great challenge to trade facilitation. If you had to provide solutions, what are the solutions you prefer to cope this, aside from the security?
Let's separate it. Piracy has to do with violent actions against vessels outside our territorial water, that is in the international waters. While whatever of such nature that happens within your own territorial waters is called armed robbery against vessels at sea. The major challenge is that...
No, you have identified the armed robbery. Yes. So I want to also move it, which is to the piracy, which is going to affect our trade facilitation. Yes. So I want us to...
Now, taking both into account, one major challenge is this. Most of the international conventions and protocols governing the trial of offenders, governing against the trial of pirates, have not been domesticated. So, if the Nigerian Armed Forces or the Navy apprehend those who have robbed vessels either within our waters or outside our waters. The Nigerian government, we cannot try, particularly if they are foreigners, and to a large extent, most of the ships that come from, most of the people who carry out these activities are not only Nigerians. Now, you cannot try those people within Nigeria because they are foreigners. Even those who commit, who commit serious stealing, crude oil theft. You remember there was even recently, you can't try them in Nigerian courts. You have to just, what will happen? The embassies will just come and apply and you hand them back. So if you do not domesticate those laws, then you have a problem in how to deal with such cooperatives.
That's one way forward.
So we need to domesticate.
Okay.
Secondly, we need to, particularly within, those who live in coastal area, who have skills in swimming, use of boats, and so on and so forth. We must find ways of empowering them through job provision, through skills acquisition, through training, so that those ones at the borderline who are susceptible to being enticed to go into crime will have viable alternatives to engage them. 3, it is important that we remove all scraps, abandoned vessels, in our waters, because they provide safe haven for these criminals to hide their guns and so on and so forth. If you don't clear your waterways, those scraps will be like warehouses for storing arms. We need to be very effective in implementing our anti-smuggling laws. Because if you do not do that, most of the people who are involved in smuggling end up doing what? Moving into robberies, piracy, armed robbery at sea, and so on and so forth. What is the solution? The overall, to just make, is good governance. On land, we are talking of challenges within the sector.
Okay.
We've talked about security. Now, you saw the problems you faced getting here. Trucks all over the place. We need to promote, Shippers Council is doing that, we need to build truck parks. Either through PPP or NPA should take it up and build and outsource the management under very fair, a good agreement for it to have enough return so that these trucks can live. We understand this. There's a study that says the ports, the 3 ports in Apapa can take a maximum of about 2,000 trucks in a day. But we have over 7,000 trucks coming in to Apapa every day, littering everywhere. We who work here in Apapa go through serious difficulties commuting. Now you also see the adjoining roads all have collapsed. So this is a challenge. What is the way forward? Let's invest in truck park. NPA should take it up. Let's take care of the roads. Let's ensure that just like the Lagos port is operating on a 24 hours basis, that let's ensure that the eastern ports also operate on 24, round the clock, so that the pressure, the Apapa port or Tinkan port, and the like are having will reduce. If we make those ports operate 24 hours in a day, if we provide good incentive, Easterners who are bringing in goods here, or those who are bringing in goods to Lagos that will still be freighted to the east, will be encouraged to move down there.
So that brings me to this question to ask that, what strategic plans do you think will reposition the maritime industry?
Finally, I was talking of decongesting the ports. One of the key things beyond the fact that the road infrastructure must be solid, the rail system, the rails must be connected to the ports to ensure that goods are also leaving the ports through the rail, just like they are leaving the road. And there is nothing stopping MPA from also encouraging the badging of cargo, using badges to move cargo from the ports to the hinterland, to the various inland container depots outside the port area. So if we now use badges to evacuate cargo, we use rail to evacuate cargo, we use road, that is multimodalism in practice, in action. So all this, when we talk of key development, there should be massive investment in port infrastructure. There should be effective monitoring of the operators to ensure that their activities are up to standard with what is happening, in the Western world. There must be continuous improvement in terms of technology, and manpower training. That is invaluable. If you invest in infrastructure, invest in technology, and you do not invest in the training of your people, then there is a gap. So the totality of that will positively impact the maritime industry.
Massive investment in infrastructure, training, and technology is the way forward for the maritime industry. It's been Andy Isichei. He is the president, Nigerian Chamber of Shipping. Many thanks for coming on Maritime Update.
Thank you very much, madam.
Welcome to our interactive segment. If you have just joined us, it's Maritime Update, where we bring to you developments in the maritime industry. These are some of the mails we received this week. Dear presenter, thank you for exploring and bringing maritime news and information from all facets of the maritime industry via a handy YouTube view on our palms. Keep it up. That's Dr. Eugene Weke. Thank you, Norma, for bringing us this program every week. What is the federal government doing about tankers on the road? What is the federal government doing about dredging our waterways and ensuring safety? What is the federal government doing about investing in infrastructure, removing wrecked ships, and ensuring effective implementation of anti-smuggling laws? Okechukwu Alozie from Apapa, Lagos. Good day, Norma. I have been watching your program on YouTube for quite some time now. I would like you to talk about topic on how to export Nigeria products legally to US, Canada, and Australia. Sandra Brown from Ontario, Canada. We must say a big thank you to all of you who sent in mails this week. Your questions, comments, or contributions are appreciated. We will get back to you on the answers to questions raised. We ask that you keep them coming. To join this interactive session, send your questions, comments, complaints, or observations to maritimeupdate@yahoo.com with your name and location. We implore you to keep it simple and civil so we can read them. And that's our package on this week's edition of Maritime Update. I must thank you most kindly for being a part of this week's show. Please remember to send your comments, complaints, and observations on our email or number showing on your screen. This show promises to bring you yet another exciting package next week. For more details, you can also contact the Nigerian Shippers Council on our website or text the number showing on your screen. You can also view this episode or any of our previous episodes on our YouTube channel, Maritime Update. When you visit, please subscribe for free and also click the notification button. I am Norma Obiaswalo. Until I come your way again same time next week, it's goodbye.